What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you the best raids that you should be farming for Herba Mystica in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's DLC, the Indigo Disc. This raid guide is going to assist you in your shiny hunting prowess as well, because you need Herba Mystica to make the best sandwiches. And of course, guys, if you like my type of content, enjoy these videos, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it. Consider supporting the channel by joining the Pan Fam and that join channel member button below. So let's just dive right into the numbers. So I made this nice little infographic, and feel free to use this. But these are all of the 6-star raids in the Indigo Disc and what they drop, and also the best 6-star and best 5-star raids that you should be doing. So let's get this straight. Every 6-star raid will have a 3.03% chance of dropping a respective Herba Mystica. So we have a list here of which ones drop salties, which ones drop sweet, spicy, bitter, and sour. So pretty much spicy is going to be the most common one out here. There's a total of 7 raids that drop spicy Herba Mystica exclusively. And then it's going to be a tie between salty and bitter. And then it's going to be sweet, then sour. Now I'm going to say this: salty and then spicy, those are the two best Herba Mystica. And then after that, I would say it's probably between sweet and a sour. And then bitter overall is the least. So if you're going to order them in priority, that is the ones I would probably do. Now, honestly, I wouldn't even recommend doing any of those 6-star raids. The only raids I would really recommend doing are the ones on the left side of the infographic here. So the 6-star raids that drop all herbs are going to be Porygon 2, Lapras, Kingdra, Malamar, Alolan Muck, and Galarian Slowbro. So they have a total of a 15.15% chance of dropping at least one Herba Mystica, and they can drop one of the 5. So there's a potential that you can actually get all 5 of them, which would be pretty sick. Now, that doesn't mean 6-star raids are the only good raids. You could do 5-star raids that drop all herbs, and you have a 12% chance of getting at least one herb from these 5-star raids, which would be Lapras, Kingdra, and Malamar. So if you see Lapras, Kingdra, and Malamar in general, that is a raid you want to do. And just keep in mind, if you see Porygon 2, Slowbro, or Alolan Muck in a 6-star raid, those are also the raids you want to do. Now, I will say this: these raids are actually not too bad, honestly. They're all pretty linear raids in general, and I'm not too afraid of any of the Pokemon from the all herb raids in general. Now, over on Cerebi, we can see an in-depth breakdown of these raids, and this is why I'm not really too afraid of these raids in general. So let's look at Lapras, right? One that I definitely recommend doing. You can see each Herba Mystica drop is a 2.4% chance. Add them up, it's going to be a 12% chance. And it's not scary. It's just like ice, water, and body press. Like, okay, it can put you to sleep, and that's pretty much the scariest thing. I guess mist and snowscape can be annoying, but overall, not really a threat in general. Now, looks at Kingdra here. Kingdra just sets up the Rang focus energy towards the end of its life, but it has, you know, Dragon Pulse and Hydro Pump, so dual stab in the rain, Flash Cannon for coverage against fairies, and Yawn. I mean, not terribly scary, honestly. Like, these are going to be very simple raids to farm. And lastly, Malamar. Foul Play. I mean, that's not the scariest thing. I mean, it can be scary in some mons. Psycho Cut can be scary, potentially. Same with Night Slash with the high crit. But overall, you know, not the scariest thing. So, okay, now we got Slowbro. We got some different guys here. Once again, look at the drop rates. The 6-star raids have a 3.03% chance of dropping. 3.0.3 times 5 is going to be about like your 15% there. And Slowbro, it's not too scary either. I mean, it's going to have its hidden ability, but, you know, it's going to like have its signature moves of like Rock Blast, Chilling Water, lower your attack. Like, okay, that's not too bad in general. A Muck, like, Muck is just going to status you and hit you with like Hex and things like that. Non-stab move. Lapras virtually has the same moveset. Now it has Body Slam instead of Body Press is the main big thing, the difference there. Kingdra, what does Kingdra drop? Now it has Draco Meteor, so it can like drop its own stats by a little bit. Has Water Pulse instead of Hydro Pump. Pretty much the same type of raid. Porygon 2, new one here. Sets up Trick Room and Thunder Wave, a little bit interesting here, but it's not a scary, big damage dealing Pokemon in general, so I'm not too afraid of that one at all. Funny enough, Porygon Z does not drop a lot of herbs. You would think that's weird. And then a Malamar here. Okay, like Malamar is virtually the same thing. Now you have Pluck, so you can't use berries against it. So overall, these raids are not scary. Now for our raid generalist build, and Annihilate is honestly the king of it. It works for 16 of the 18 types that you encounter in raids, and is just an absolute beast that can solo nearly every piece of raid content in the game. Even sometimes 7 stars, it can just easily solo by itself too. And we're gonna give it Ghost Terror with the Shell Bell, with the max HP, max attack, adamant nature, and pretty much I like Vital Spirit more than Defiant when you're doing farming raids. So the big reason why is you won't go to sleep. I noticed Pokemon on the 6-star list that had like Yawn or Sleep Powder and things like that, and I think Sleep's incredibly annoying, and there is not a lot of Pokemon that actually drop your attack stat to even trigger Defiant, or just drop your stats in general to trigger Defiant. The only one from the 6-star list that I care about, which is the all herbalist, was Slowbro, that does have Chilling Water. So against Slowbro, I would say Defiant is actually the better ability, but for the 5-star and 6-star raids that I listed that drop all the herbs, Vital Spirit is going to be the key ability to have for all but one of them. So, you know, you can have 2 Annihilates as well. You can have 1 Defiant one and 1 Vital Spirit one as well. So pretty much we just went with Rage Fist. Whenever you get damaged, this move does 50 more damage, and it caps at 300. So Stab, 300 base power move, and then Tera on top of that pretty much wipes everything, which is why Annihilate's so good. Even when you die in the raid battle, you keep your stacks. So a lot of strategies involve you just debuffing the opponent and using something like Screech or something like that. So let's actually put the ideal moveset on here. So we definitely want to have Rage Fist on here, of course. Screech is absolutely vital here. You don't really need bulk up. Honestly, I've never used bulk up on Annihilate. It's a great move to have, but you definitely don't need bulk up. And it's to fill up that last move, because we don't need close combat either, we're going to put on Focus Energy here. So I think like Rage Fist, Drain Punch, Screech, and Focus Energy is just your way to go move with Annihilate. Now, Drain Punch is really only here just if you want to fight a Dark Tera raid and you're just too lazy to switch it up. You could also have a second Tera Annihilate that is going to be Tera Fighting instead of Tera Ghost with Drain Punch. It will work, but there are better options for that, and we'll cover that in a moment. But yeah, pretty much Annihilate just sweeps with Rage Fist. It's super easy. I would definitely recommend using PP ups to get it to 16. Very important to have that on Annihilate. And the only Pokemon from that raid list that remotely threaten this Annihilate is going to be the Psycho Cut from the Malamar, which is definitely going to do super effective damage. However, once you Tera, it's not going to be super effective anymore. The Alolan Muck can do super effective damage with the Hex, but it's not Stab, so I'm really not afraid of it. And the Zen Headbutt from the Galarian Slowbro would be Stab super effective until you actually hit that Tera button, and then you're going to be good to go. So you can pretty much Tera out of your main weaknesses, which is very important on Annihilate. Now, we'll also recommend Iron Hands with Tera Fighting and Metronome. This is pretty much just to cover any of the Tera Normal and Tera Dark raids you encounter, and it's very simple. Max HP, max attack, adamant nature, and you're going to turn 1 Belly Drum and just spam Drain Punch over and over. And we're going to have a Metronome on, so this is going to make it so Drain Punch does more damage every single time you do it, capping at a 50% damage boost, which is pretty massive. So Iron Hands, absolutely phenomenal Pokemon to cover for what Annihilate lacks. And if you don't have Iron Hands and you're a Pokemon Scarlet player, then you can use Tera Fighting, Koraidon, and Shell Bell with max HP, max attack, adamant nature. You don't have Belly Drum, but you do have access to Swords Dance and Screech. Your signature move, Collision Course, does a crap ton of damage, and you're going to be doing a lot with that. You could also remove Shell Bell and put on Metronome and just use it as a Drain Puncher as well. Very similar to how you would play an Iron Hands, but I would definitely recommend trying to trade for an Iron Hands if you don't have access to one of these. All right, so we got Annihilate here going into this 6-star Alolan Muck Dragon Tera raid, and we're just going to go for the solo build. Now, I forgot to mention that Alolan Muck does actually have the move Crunch, and that will be doing super effective damage against us. But even against the odds, Annihilate will be able to prevail in a solo scene. And I imagine this Pokemon in a scene where it's doing super effective damage, or it's just not taking super effective damage, and it gets an even cleaner sweep. But it's more fun to show off a more challenging raid in general. So we're going to be running here. Our AI partner is not too great overall, not too great, but that's fine. If you got some Intimidate partners, that's always the best for physical attackers. I'm going to start the raid with a Screech here. And we do land the Screech. We get a light screen up as well. We get a defense tier from the solo allies here. All right. Oh, the life dude. That's hilarious. We got healed by our AI. So at this point, We can go for like a focus energy and just try to get crits off as well. So now we have a 50% chance of critting, but they're also at -2 defense. So in general, we're going to be doing big damage. And our Gardevoir just keeps healing us. This is actually hilarious. So now I'm just going to start spamming Rage Fist and just trying to get our Tera ready for later. The Muck will remove our statuses at some point, so we'll have to keep that in mind. But that's going to be big damage. Whether we get a crit or not, that's big damage. So he removed the defense, and that's fine. And I'm just going to keep on attacking him. At this point in the raid, I'm just going to keep on attacking him, right? I want to at least get my Tera ready just in case. And we're already doing big damage. And we're keeping it up, keeping it full. Another crunch. Now we do get a defense drop that would have actually triggered a Defiant if we had it. So, you know, Defiant does have its perks even in random raids like this. Just the off chance a defense drop can happen or some sort of drop. Defiant is really helpful. But like I said, there's a lot of these that put you to sleep. All right. Okay, so remove negative status effects again from himself. I can Tera, but I'm actually going to go for a Screech here just to see if I can land this. And we do land the Screech. So he's -2, and we have a high crit going. So we're just going to be doing big damage no matter what happens here. And our Rage Fist is going to keep on doing big damage. And now I can just go for the Tera Rage Fist because I believe we're actually going to be hitting for 300 on our Rage Fist now, which is very incredibly good. And he still hasn't put up his shield, so we're going to be slicing through him whether we get a crit or whether the -2 comes in play. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But either way, big damage is guaranteed. So stab, Tera boosted. Are we going to cut him like butter? That did a huge chunk right there. That did a huge chunk, and that wasn't even a crit. So now he's going to be doing big damage to us back in return. He returned a crit, and it got a defense drop. So that is a little bit unfortunate. Got a crit and a defense drop. It's very unfortunate for us. Hate to see it. Let's put a toxic on the belly bolt there. Fortunately, we're in a situation where we're going to get hit by another crunch, which is not going to be great. We're going to need this Rage Fish to do big damage, get us back our life. That crit was very unfortunate, especially with the defense drop. Shreds him, though. Absolutely does a crap ton of damage. We're going to get hit by a crunch now. Let's hope we don't get crit. We almost died, but we don't. All right, another Rage Fist. And this might break through the shield. Oh, it just kills because we got a crit because focus energy. There we go. Even when it's looking bad, even when we get hit by that crit and defense drop, by a stab, super effective crunch from a Alolan Muck, that's pretty solid attack stat. We can just pierce the veil and actually take him out. Oh, he actually has just a little bit of life left. Just hanging on. Now he's dead. He had to get one more hit in the end there. But there you have it, guys. That is how you're going to be trying to farm Herba Mystica. I always recommend trying to do it online at the very least because it's easier, but solo-wise, it'll be pretty decent. We unfortunately did not get a drop here, but it's still a 15%er to get the drop. It's not always going to happen, but eventually you do enough of these raids, you're going to get a lot of Herba Mystica, and you'll be able to shiny hunt easily. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it. Catch you guys next time. Peace out, and have a good one.